Hey Deb. I need your help figuring out what to do about my friend, and to decide if it's even worth keeping her around. Some years ago, I met who is now one of my closest friends. We bond over many things, such as music, taste, political views, humor, just about everything, and our part in the LGBT community. She is bi and I'm ace. Our friendship was going great. Hanging out, going to concerts, etc. Until last year, that is, when she suddenly became very touchy and would constantly comment on how I dressed too gay to be a cis ace. It made me uncomfortable, but I decided to not make a big deal out of it, thinking she was just playing around. However, after some weeks passed, her behavior began getting on my nerves for real. I told her repeatedly I'm straight and have no interest in girls, but she always tries to prove to me why I'm wrong, saying things like, "But you dress so gay, but the music you listen to, but the way you sit," and other dumb things like that. I met some of her friends and it's obvious she's made them believe we have something going on, but it's all made up in her head. I always tell her when I like a guy to make her realize I was never and will never be interested in girls, but she just doesn't seem to get it. Recently things got even worse. A friend invited the two of us to a girls' night and I had to sleep beside her. We drank too much and things were a bit hazy, but I clearly remember when she tried to make me admit I liked girls, and started getting super touchy, even tried kissing me. Thankfully, another one girl woke up. Although the situation wasn't serious, thinking about it makes me shiver in disgust. Even thinking about her makes me perplexed now. I think she is more thrilled by the idea of physical intimacy than a relationship, which as an ace revolts me. And it disappoints me that even after telling her how uncomfortable her physical touches makes me feel and how many times I told her I am straight, she never respected what I told her. Deb, we've been friends for over 4 years, but at this point my feelings about our friendship vary. A side of me still values our friendship. I hope to talk to her and come to common ground. But the other side hates her for ruining our friendship over her stupid temptations. I don't know what side to take or how to handle this. Can you help me?
First, let me say this. I don't, dealing with the LBGT community is not really my area of expertise. So I'm going to approach this the same way I would if you were a heterosexual woman in a friendship with a male, or as a heterosexual woman in friendship with a female, and leave all that other part out. Okay, we're going to talk about how she's relating to you and how she's stepping on your boundaries and how you've already told her to stop and she's not listening. Okay, so I mean, I appreciate the context in which you're saying this, the buy in your ace, which I don't even know what that means, but like I said, it's irrelevant to me. So you had this woman, you met this woman several years ago, everything was going great. And then about approximately a year ago, she started to change the way that she relates to you. She started becoming real touchy-feely, and she would make these inappropriate comments about how you dress too, quote, gay to be a cis ace. I don't understand how somebody dresses too gay. I mean, maybe somebody listening to this can clue me in. I admit I'm not the most up to date on this kind of stuff, but I don't understand how you can dress gay as a woman. And, I'm clueless there. I have to admit it. I don't know what she's talking about. All right. So, her comments anyway, whatever she means, they made you uncomfortable. To me, that is the essence of what's going on here. She is violating your boundaries. You let her know, and she still is doing it anyway. Unfortunately, when she first got started, you decided, quote, not to make a big deal out of it, thinking she was playing around. That was a mistake. Whenever someone violates your boundaries, you don't ever assume that they're playing around. What they're doing is testing you. It's a way to test to see how much you're going to let them get away with before you check them, how hard you're going to check them, and what the repercussions are for doing what they do. If they're getting something out of it, they're going to continue to do it because your checking is either non-existent or very light. In other words, there's no real loss for them suffered by doing these things to you. And this would go on. This I would, like I said, I was had the same stance whether we're talking about a man doing this to you or a woman doing this to you. I don't care. It could be a Martian doing this to you. That's irrelevant to me. The point is that they were doing something that was inappropriate and you don't like it. Okay, that's where Deb is with this. Okay, so you know you didn't say anything, right? Because you assuming she's playing around. So of course, like I said, she starts upping the ante. That's what happens with these kinds of people. They're gonna keep pushing your boundaries, pushing your boundaries, pushing your boundaries until you respond. And it took a minute, but you finally said something. So you start telling her, well, I'm straight. I don't have no interest in what you're talking about. You know, she's trying to prove to you why you're wrong and trying to argue with you down. Now, see, this is where if she were a man, I would be telling you totally to cut her loose, which had you asked me this before, I would have said the same thing. You cannot be with someone who does not respect your no. With someone who does not respect your stop, with someone who does not respect your don't touch me, who does not respect your don't talk to me like that, you're basically having somebody who's going to insist that they treat you any kind of way that they want to, no matter what you feel about it, no matter how it hurts you, no matter what you think about it, no matter what your boundaries are. They're going to treat you the way that they want to, and you're going to deal with it. That's their general attitude. So then, you know, she's saying all these other dumb things. Still don't understand what that's all about, but what I guess you do. So then you meet her friends, Rob, and you see she's been misrepresenting to them that you two have some kind of, you know, personal relationship, like of an intimate nature. But this is all fantasy in her head, and you didn't say anything. Again, there's another opportunity for you to speak up and establish a firm boundary and let everybody her know at the same time that it ain't going down like that. You didn't say anything. If this were me, this is what would happen. Okay, you got this clue that she thinks she's been telling her friends lies and having them under the mistaken impression that you and two in some kind of relationship. I would have been like, hey, you know, it seems like y'all are under some kind of misconception here. You thinking me and her are a couple or some shit? No, we not. We're just friends, and if she keeps this BS up, we're not even gonna be that. So just everybody get straight. I'm not with her like that. We're just straight platonic friends. And see, that's all you had to say. And you could have shut all that down and you would have clowned her in front of her friends, so she would have been less likely to do anything like that. That is the same tactic that you use when some dude is trying to claim you with his friends and trying to make it seem like he's all, you know, you all his woman and all that stuff, trying to stake a claim. And he ain't, no, you don't get to do that. I'm a free agent until there's a ring on this finger. And I don't have no problem telling people that. You shouldn't either. Okay, so then you say, moving on, things got even worse. So you go to this girls' night. Why did you go to a girls' night when you see that she's already escalating things? You could have went for a drink or two and hopped your butt in an Uber and went home. That's what you should have done. Okay, so don't do this in the future. But you slept next to her, you drank too much, and things are a little fuzzy. And you know, when people are trying to get you into a vulnerable position, they will ply you with alcohol. So you have to be very careful with that. Sometimes they'll, you know, ply you with you know, drugs that people use frequently that, you know, I mean, they're not like harmful, you know, addictive kind of street drugs. Or sometimes they'll just put something in your drink altogether. So either way, they're, you know, you think you're having a good time, but this person is measuring your intake of alcohol, marijuana, whatever it is. They're trying to get you to a certain point where you lose self-control. That's their goal. So she's thinking you there, right, but you really weren't. And so she starts making her move, and you are revolted by it, and you're very disappointed in her behavior. Did you tell her that? Did you tell her that? You know, you're disgusted, and she stopped once the other girl woke up. She thinks she's going to get away with something. Did you tell her, don't ever do that to me again? I can't stand that shit. I'm not about that life. I done told you this. As a matter of fact, let me put your butt on the timeout. Something like that. Did you say anything of a firm nature like that to her? That's what you have to say. And like I said, this is the exact same conversation that I would tell a young lady who was dealing with a guy who was acting like this towards her. The exact same thing. It doesn't matter. Like the person could be a Martian, you know, Jaws. I don't care who you are, but you're not listening to me. You're not listening to my no, and you're not respecting my boundaries and limits. So you got to go. So you know you keep repeating yourself. See, this is the part that drives me crazy. Young ladies, you know, you want to maintain the relationship, but you maintain the relationship at the expense of your own self-worth, your own self-confidence, your own self-esteem. You sacrifice that because you want to keep this alleged friend around who's just putting a mash on you and not respecting your boundaries. Never, under any circumstance, should you do that. Nobody deserves to have access to you who's not respecting your no. That person should be put on an immediate timeout away from you over there in the corners in the dark somewhere. You know, you feel like because you've been friends for 4 years, you have to continue that. Especially, you know, you're in your 20s, and it's the kind of thing where, you know, you're going to change friends at this age, in this decade of your life. You're still growing and changing into the person that you're going to be. Who you were at 21, you're going to be a completely different woman by the time you're 31. You know, and then by 41, it's going to be somebody new again. So, you know, it doesn't mean that just because you're friends with her now, that she's meant to be a participant in your life as you move forward. That's something I think a lot of people just have to come to grips with. Yes, it's sad. You know, it's a change. It's shocking. It may be somewhat upsetting because you really like this person and you've come to depend on them or whatever. But when they start showing signs like this and they start treating you poorly like this, where what they want from you is more important than what you want for yourself, then you have to get rid of that person. You have to get rid of them. You know, you feel like you wanted to talk to her and come to some common ground. Why? You've already done that. You've done that several times. Has it worked? Has she listened? When are you going to stop running your mouth and take action? I mean, I'm not trying to be mean to you or anything, but you know, you gave a very clear story here of repeated breaches of your boundaries, ridiculous just smashing of your no, ignoring what you say that you want for yourself, what you're all about, what you like. She don't care. She wants you to do what she wants you to do. This is a very aggressive and a very abusive type of relationship. If she were a man trying to exert this kind of control over you, it would be a scary thing because he would be so much bigger, stronger, and all this kind of stuff. These are the kind of people. This is just an abusive girl. This is emotional abuse, and you have to. There's videos on the channel about it. If you want to just go to the top of the channel, search the channel bar and type in emotional abuse, and all the videos with that in the title will come up. Take a look at those, and get an understanding for how this kind of stuff works and how they wear you down. That's the goal. You got to keep saying no, and they're going to keep asking anyway, and asking in different ways at different times, trying to coerce you, like with alcohol and drinks and drugs and stuff like that. They're going to try to get their way with you no matter what you say. So when you have someone like that, they've already shown you their true colors. The only thing you can do is you're going to tell her this. This is your last statement to her. You're going to say, look here. Well, let's say her name is Vicky. Look here, Vicky. I've told you 5 times I don't swing that way. I am strictly dickly, okay? You don't have that equipment. I'm not trying to be with you and look at what you got. I don't care. I'm not interested. It ain't me. I've told you that 5 times. So this is the very last time I'm telling you. I like you as a person. You've been a great friend. We have a lot in common. We have a lot of fun together. But one thing I'm not going to tolerate is somebody who refuses to respect my no and respect my boundaries. So this is your last time. You pull one of those stunts like you try to do at the sleepover again, or you try to argue with me about why I should agree with you and change my stance to be what you want me to be, this friendship is gone, up in smoke, and I don't ever want to see your face again. You could throw in some embellishments like, your monkey face and, some of the lovely terms that I like to use, but you get the general idea. You got to shut her down and send her on her way. So I know that's going to be hard for you. You seem to be a person who doesn't really, by what you wrote here, don't really seem to like direct confrontation, but that's what this person is depending on, is your reticence about speaking up and being really strong and forceful. She's totally, just looking at saying, well, I can just say it enough. She's going to say it enough times, I can get her to change her mind because you're not really coming out strong. Your position, you're saying what you want, yes, but it's not really with any kind of force behind it, and it makes it seem kind of weak. Just like when a girl says to a guy, oh, I don't really want to do that, hee hee hee, and then they start laughing, giggling and stuff. Well, that's a mixed message. What is the punishment for him not listening to her? You need to keep that in mind. Treat her just like she's a dude, and figure out what the punishment is going to be for her not respecting your no. That is what the main thing here is. The key concept here, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm stumbling over my words. The key core issue here is her not respecting your no. And when you think of it that way, What kind of friend is she really? I mean, if you two part ways, will you really be losing anything that you can't get somewhere else? That's my stance on it. Glad you wrote. Thank you for writing. I hope this letter, the advice that's given to this letter, is helpful for you and any other young ladies listening with this struggling with friendships and boundaries, or even romantic relationships and boundaries. You got to come strong when people start mashing on your boundaries and not respecting your no. There's no room for negotiation on this. You can't sidestep it, and you can't pussyfoot around it, and you can't be nice. You got to come out hard with the cannons blazing and shoot them down so they understand where you're coming from. Hit that like and subscribe button, please, before you get up out of here. I'll see y'all tomorrow.